just one person in each Christian congregation in the whole of Britain offered a room to a lodger, then that would make a huge difference. I don't know, there's about 40,000 congregations in Britain. 40,000 people would be housed, have somewhere decent to live. And that's not a huge leap for one congregation to find somebody with a spare room who'd be prepared to let it out. So there's things like that. There's things like being involved as a congregation in setting up a night shelter during the winter for homeless people. Housing Justice does a lot to give advice to churches who want to do that. Maybe you have 7 churches in an area who want to set up a night shelter for homeless people, and they each take one day of a week that they're responsible for. Again, it's not so overwhelming as feeling you've got to be responsible for the whole thing every night for 4 months or something. But it's something that means that people don't have to actually sleep on the street. And also churches can have contact with them and support them and get to know them as individuals. And that's something I think we're very good at doing as Christians. Individual members of a congregation, lots of us actually turn out to own properties and let properties out. Sometimes we don't think about what we're doing in a Christian context. You know, could we actually offer our tenants more security than they're legally entitled to? 6 months is a very short period of time to offer to somebody, say, yes, you can rent this, you can only have for 6 months, and after that you might have to be looking for something else. Could you offer them, maybe you can offer them a probationary period to start with, but then after that offer 5-year tenancies. That makes a lot of difference to a family, to know that they can stay in a place for 5 years. Could you think about the rent you're charging? Does it have to be market rent? Yes, you're entitled to it. But you know, God isn't necessarily the God of what you're entitled to. God is the God of generosity. Would it be worth looking at what can people actually afford in that area? And then of course there's the project I actually work on, which is to work with churches that have got surplus land or buildings and who are interested in developing those for some kind of social housing. And the project I work on, Faith and Affordable Housing, we offer free, got to be good, hasn't it? You know, it's free advice we can offer you. We can tell you about working with housing associations, with community land trusts, with other organisations that could build or convert your property and provide social housing which would be secure, which would be at a price people could afford. And also, I think the key would also be that the church could be involved in supporting the residents in those properties, informally or formally. And that could be a real key to the mission of the church and making the church relevant to people out there.